Now, today's show is one I've been looking forward to for quite a long time. We have two of my very favourite YouTube creators, both for very different reasons. We have Mike from the band Girls Bike. His channel is linked in the description, and I strongly recommend you checking them out. And we have ScimanDan. His channel is also linked in the description. I strongly recommend you checking him out, although it's fair to say that if you've probably made it to one of my channels, you've made it through ScimanDan anyway. So you probably know who he is. Now, both of these are educators in their own right. ScimanDan has chosen maths as his specialist subject for GCSE, and Mike, being a science teacher for over 20 years, has chosen science. Now, both ScimanDan and Mike can also be found, along with myself, Burr Maths and AB Science, at the Core Learning Network channel, which is linked in the description, which is going to provide GCSE and lower school lessons for a variety of different subjects while the schools are shut over the coming weeks. So, without further ado, let's meet the contestants. Oh, and what I should also say is while I was recording this, there was just a little bit of a glitch and I didn't quite manage to capture the video feed from their side, only the audio. So when you look in their little boxes, don't be surprised if what you see doesn't match up with what they're saying. And welcome back to the second round, the first match in the second round of the Cats Science and Maths YouTube Creator GCSE Cup Knockout. And we've got a massive, massive show for you today. We have the conqueror of John from Girls Bike, which is Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very, very, very good, thank you. And we have a YouTuber who goes by the name of ScimanDan. I'm sure many of you will have heard of him. Dan, you just recently topped over 300,000 subscribers. How did that feel?
It felt pretty good, gotta be honest. Didn't expect it at all, but yeah, excellent.
I was very, very, very impressed to see that, and honestly, you deserve every single one. Now, both of you are educators in your own right as well, aren't you? Not just creators of awesome stuff. At the beginning of this video, Mike, I know you've not seen it yet, we've shown another clip of your band. And again, I highly recommend anybody goes over to your channel and subscribes to that. But you are also a teacher as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a high school science teacher.
And Dan, you also have a long history of education as well. So this should be thoroughly exciting. Now, the rules of the first round, there's only 10 questions in the round. If you go, so you've both given me a specialist subject, and you've got the option to go either home for 1 point or away for possibly any other GCSE subject for 2 points. And Dan, you can't see the questions, but everyone at home can. And your specialist subject was, what did you say it was?
Maths.
Your specialist subject was maths.
Yeah.
So, are you going to go home or away for the first question?
Oh, I better go home. Better go home to start.
Okay, so the home question is an equation question. Can you give me an equation to calculate the volume of a sphere?
Yes, I think if memory serves me right, it's 4/3 pi r cubed.
Fantastic. That's 1-0 to
Come
Dan.
on.
That's brilliant. In fact, you know, normally what we do in these little shows, we have a little bit of trash talking beforehand. Now you've got that first question right. Are you feeling confident enough to talk some trash?
No. It's been 2 years since I've taught GCSE maths, so I'm going to be rusty.
Right. Well, Mike, what about yourself? You got any trash talking you want to throw Dan's way?
I don't know who he is, mate.
You don't know? That's possibly the best bit of trash talking you could have actually given. Yeah, that was that.
He's a little southern dude, isn't he?
Is it? Little known channel from the south coast. But okay, so Mike, are you going home or away?
Yeah, I'll go home, mate. Thank you.
And the question is, what does Hooke's law state?
Hooke's law states that for any equal increase in mass on an elastic object, the stretch will be the same each time.
I'll give you that. Yeah, we talk about force and extension being proportional. You can have that.
You've put that better than I can.
Dan, home or away? What do you think?
I'll go home.
Go home. Now, all I need you to do is to state any 3 of the circle theorems that we need to know at GCSE. And for the crowd at home, I'm just going to put some images on the screen that represent those theorems. Off you go.
Only 3. Okay. The opposite sides of a cyclic quadrilateral equal 180.
Mm-hmm.
A triangle, going through the diameter of a circle. When it touches the outer of the circle, it's the right angle triangle.
Yeah.
Is that a fair one?
That's second one, yeah.
And then two angles in the same segment are equal.
Fantastic. So that seemed like a lot of work, to be fair, for 1 point. But you did very well. Mike, home or away?
Yeah, I'll go home again. Cheers.
You go home. So I'm sure the reason for this is much more complicated than we teach at GCSE, but at GCSE, why do we teach that the noble gases are unreactive?
Yeah, well, the noble gases in Group 8 or Group 0 of the periodic table. So we teach that the electron shell, their outer electron shell, is full. In the case of helium, that means it's got 2 electrons, and therefore it can't take any more without going to another shell. Now, you and I know that really means going to another quantum energy level or another quantum energy possibility, really. And then as you go down the noble gas group with helium, argon, etc., you get an electron arrangement of 2-8 and then 2-8-8. So the outer shell that can only contain 8 in those elements, and then it's full, which means that it can neither gain nor lose electrons very easily, if at all. And so they are completely unreactive. Now, there was a guy, I believe it was a Swedish guy, who did manage to make, it might have been neon. He managed to force neon to react. It might have been one of the other ones. It might have been krypton from memory. But I think he won a Nobel Prize for actually ripping one of the electrons out and making it react with something. But it's the full outer shell. They can't gain or lose electrons, and therefore they can't react with anything else.
Absolutely, and yeah, when I've been doing some research for a debate I had with Kent Hovind, I was looking at certain conditions that argon can be made to react under.
Was it argon? Yeah.
I mean, maybe that was true as well. I'm certainly no expert on it, but that's absolutely right. 2 points each. Dan, home or away?
I better stick with home for the moment.
What? Give me an example, or can you tell me what the law of sines means?
The law of sines. Do you want in normal trigonometry or the sine rule?
Not the SOHCAHTOA, but
so
yeah.
A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. That one.
Yeah. So the opposite of any triangle divided by the sine of the angle it's opposite from will always give us the same number in a triangle.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's another point for you. This is going to be a tough competition. So go on. Oh no, I thought you were. Just for the viewers at home, you two can't hear each other, can you?
No.
So right, so which is going to come handy for the next round. Mike, home or away?
Can I just ask? Did you say that away questions are any GCSE subject?
Any GCSE subject.
Any. Right, I'll go home then.
Home. Right. Complete the reaction. I want all 3 products. Lithium carbonate plus sulfuric acid.
Yeah, you gave us one of the products, didn't you? Because one of the products is carbon dioxide. It'd be lithium sulfate, water, and carbon dioxide, mate.
Lithium sulfate, water, and carbon dioxide. Superb. It's 3 apiece. This is hotting up nicely. Dan, home or away?
I'll stick with home.
Dan, home question. What equation will give us the area of any triangle?
Any triangle, half base times height.
Mike, would you like a home or away?
Yeah, we'll try one more home, and then I might get brave later. The next question.
What is the charge of a cation?
A cation. I teach my kids to. I always put up loads of pictures of metal sculptures of cats, and so we spend kind of months going metal cats. Remember metal cats? Now, the reason I do that is because as long as they know that metals are on the left-hand side of the periodic table, and therefore they always have to lose an electron in order to react, at least an electron, 1, 2, or 3 electrons, then they will always remember that they are positively charged. So cations are positively charged now.
Fantastic. One of the misconceptions I see when I'm teaching kids is they think of the cathode as being negative, so they then think cation must be negative, but it's not. Brilliantly done.
I've always thought that's a really unfortunate naming. The cathode being one charge and the cation being the opposite charge. I think it's really difficult for kids to suss that out.
Yeah. Dan, home or away? This is the last question of the first round.
Is it? Okay. I'm gonna take a risk and I'm gonna go away.
Okay. If the binary number is 111, so this is an IT question. Sorry. If the binary number was 111. What is the normal number?
Oh my days. If the binary number is 111, I'm so bad at IT, it's unreal. No, don't know.
No, and I will go over to Mike. The answer was 7, by the way. We're going to go over to Mike, home or away?
Yeah, I'm struggling with this one. I think I don't think I'm brave enough to go away with any GCSE. I'm going to have to go home, I think, again for the last one.
Okay. The reason I didn't elaborate more on that question with you there, Dan, is because the away question for Mike was also a binary question, and I didn't want to give away how it was done.
That's all right, yeah.
So, Mike, what occurs in anaphase?
In anaphase, well, you've got ITMAT, which is the phases of mitosis, interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, which includes cytokinesis. So anaphase being straight after metaphase, anaphase is when the sister chromatids are pulled to the opposite poles of the cell by the spindle fibers. So it's separating the sister chromatids to the opposite sides of the cell.
Superb, absolutely superb. So Dan, Mike got that right. Just to let you know, the scores at the minute, Mike got every single question right there for 5 points. Solid start. Dan, you did brilliantly well until you left your subject. So you got 4. You'd have absolutely got your home question as well. I'm sure it was just a simple fraction multiplication division, I think. So that is the end of round 1, and at 5-4, it really is anybody's game. We're going to take a little bit of a musical interlude while I play one of the songs from Mike's band, which again is linked in the description. But while that is playing, take a look at this question. See if you can figure it out before the section of the song finishes, and we will be back in about 2 minutes with the answer. Now, the question is this. If a 5-kilogram ball was dropped from a height of 5 meters, how fast will it be traveling when it hits the ground? Now, to keep this simple, like we do at GCSE, we're going to ignore anything to do with air resistance. We're going to ignore any sort of frictional forces. And again, to make it so you can do it in your head without a calculator, we're going to round acceleration due to gravity up to being 10 rather than 9.81. So how fast will it be traveling when it hits the ground? See if you can work that out by the time you get to the end of this. This is Lightning Bones by Girls Bike.
Smile expose your lightning bones and it's crash of life and it never goes. The dark composite under skin that I cannot hide and I never will breathe. Deep this sonic every night. I think I feel it strike, but I get it wrong sometimes. A righteous mission. Give me what you want. Give up what you want. Can you feel the crash of life within your lightning bones? A silent, massive sun, 'cause I am not dead and I
Absolutely fantastic stuff. And just a reminder, a link to their YouTube channel is in the description. Highly recommend checking it out. Anyway, back to the question. So, to cut a very long story short, the answer was 10 meters per second. If you'd have watched the stream that I did with AB Science just a couple of weeks ago, you'd have seen a similar example of me working through this. But essentially, we look at the gravitational potential energy of the ball before it is dropped. And we realise that without any energy lost due to friction, that will be the kinetic energy of the ball before it hits the ground. We know that the gravitational potential energy is mass times gravity times height, which gives us 250 joules. Therefore, the kinetic energy is 250 joules. And a quick rearrangement of the kinetic energy formula, because we know the mass, will leave us with v squared being 100. So therefore, v is 10 meters per second. Let's get back to round 2. But we have one more round left. Now, this round is where I ask you a question that's not on any of your home subjects. They're just general GCSE for anything. Now, because you can't hear each other, I'm going to read out the question, and then I'm going to ask your opponent to predict whether you're going to get it right or not. And if they predict that correctly, they get a mark. And if you get the question right, you get a mark. So the first question, and I'm just going to leave this up to you. Who would like to go first in this round?
Okay, Dan can go first. That's fine. I don't mind if you let me know when he's done.
No, I said who wants to. Does anyone want to?
I'm not fussed. No.
Right, Mike. Since you're winning, I'll give you. Yeah. You can go first. Okay, Mike. It's astronomy. Yeah. Right.
Oh, magic.
Don't answer this. Dan, the question is, what does the period luminosity law tell us? All I want you to know is, do you think Mike is going to get that right?
I think he might get that right. Yes.
So, Mike, you heard the question. What does the period luminosity law tell us?
Yeah, do you want me to answer that now?
This is your question.
Or at least try to.
Yeah.
Right, okay. The period luminosity law. Well, period luminosity would indicate the changes in luminosity over a certain period. So, a law of that. I mean, I know luminosity intensity of light is is inversely proportional to the distance, and it's the inverse square law from that, but I suspect it's not that. Is it that it's a standard time frame within which the luminosity of a star varies that can be measured, and you can measure distances, travel the radial distances from that?
That's an excellent effort. It's not right. In the first round that you played against John, you were given a question about Cepheid variable stars, and we were told that they could calculate. We could use them to calculate the distance to the galaxies they're in. Well, we said that the Cepheid variable star goes through a period of brightness to being less bright, and so as its luminosity changes, the period that it changes over, we can use to determine what its absolute magnitude should be. So it's brightness, and then we can use that to calculate the distance. But that's unlucky. Right. Dan, you didn't manage to predict and get that wrong, so you get no point. Next question is yours, but try not to answer it yet. Mike, the question is another astronomy question. I'm going to give you the same topics. Will Dan be able to tell us what the temperature of the surface of the sun is, there or thereabouts?
Yeah, I think Dan will probably know that. Yeah.
Okay, Dan, did you hear the question?
Yes. Yeah.
So, if you temperature of the surface of the sun, there or thereabouts? Obviously, it doesn't have to be bang on.
6,000 degrees C.
Yeah, it's about 6,000 degrees C. Absolutely fantastic. So you get the mark for that. Mike, you said he was going to get that, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that's a point for you. Mike, next question is going to be Mike's. Dan, do you think Mike will get this one right? In the sentence, Adeline bit her lip, which word is the antecedent? Do you think he'll get that right or wrong?
I think, you know what I'm thinking of, don't you?
I do, yeah.
I think he's going to get that right.
Mike, do you know what the antecedent is in the sentence, Adeline bit her lip?
An antecedent is the thing that is before. So, does that mean in the past, which would be bit, or would it be the thing before, which is the person who's doing that, which would be Adeline? It's certainly not her, and it's not lit. Yeah, it's certainly not her, and it's not lit. So antecedent. Is it something that's done in the past? I'm going to go for bit.
Going to go for bit. You were close. It is Adeline. It was the person doing
Adeline,
the biting.
right.
Dan, you predicted he would get it right, didn't you?
I thought he would, yeah.
So, yeah, no points to you there. It's another English question. Dan, your question is going to be, what is the compound adjective in the sentence, he is a cold-blooded man? Mike, do you think he'll get that right or wrong?
Do I think he'll get that right or wrong? Yeah, I think I'd get that right, so I think he'll get that right, yeah.
Dan, what do you think? The compound adjective.
Oh God, I hate English so much. I'm thinking it's one of two. I'm gonna go with blooded.
Blooded. I would never have got this. I had to Google this because I'm useless at grammar. A compound adjective is two words, so like hot-headed, cold-blooded. So it's actually cold-blooded would be the...
It's the...
Yeah. Now, Dan, Mike's next question is, what is the capital of Argentina? Do you think he will get that right?
I know it. And I think he probably might know it too. I hope.
So, Mike, the capital of Argentina. Dan thinks you're going to get it. What is it?
Yeah, it's Buenos Aires, mate.
Buenos Aires. So it's a point to both of you. See, the only way of gaining ground in this round is
if you say someone's going to be wrong. Yeah.
If you think the opponent's going to get it wrong. So it's
yeah,
tetchy. Until the last question, which is actually worth 2 points, and with the scores as they are, this is going to be very close. Right, next question. Yours is a geography question, Dan.
Okay.
It's what is the capital of Brazil? And Mike, what do you think? Is he going to get it right or wrong?
Some people will get this wrong because they don't, because there are more famous cities in Brazil than the capital. But I don't think Dan will get it wrong. I think he'll get it right. Yeah.
Okay, so Dan, what's the answer?
Does he think I'm going to get it right?
Sorry, I keep forgetting you can't hear each other. Yeah, he thinks you're going to get it right. What's the answer?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Brasilia.
Brasilia. So that's another point to both of you. So there's only 1 point in it. Music. Music. Now, this is going to be Mike's question. Hang
on, doesn't he play in a band?
He does play in a band. He does play in a
Amazing.
band. The question is, in the C Ionian scale, what is the fifth, or which note is the fifth in the C Ionian scale?
Right. So he's a musician.
Right?
He's a musician. Did you know this, or did you have to look it up?
I knew this.
Right. Okay, I'll fucking get it right then.
Okay, Mike, Dan says you're going to get that right. The fifth note in the C Ionian scale. Bit of music theory. Right.
Well, he might think I'll get it right, but as you know, I play a bit of guitar, but I'm not a guitarist. And both Chris and John out of the band would know this. Chris absolutely would know it straight away. I can only make a guess that the fifth note in this particular scale, I'll go with F, but I don't know.
It's actually, I mean, the C Ionian scale is just a fancy way of, it's the first mode. It's just the major scale, so it remains G. It's still G. Right. But that, yeah, that word Ionian, just to throw you a little bit. So neither of you got the point on that one. Mike, Dan's question is, in the C Dorian scale, what note is the fifth? Do you think you'll get that right?
I think he could have a guess, but I'll hope he gets it wrong. I'll say he's going to get that wrong.
So Dan, he thinks you're going to get it wrong. In the C Dorian scale, what note is the fifth?
He thinks I'm going to get it wrong. I've got no clue about this, so I'm going to have a guess. I was going to say it's a 1 in 7 chance, but it's probably more than a 1 in 7 chance, isn't it? If we include flat and sharps.
Yeah.
C flat. No, G flat.
God, you were
G
so
flat.
close.
G flat.
It's still just a G. The Dorian scale is essentially what the natural minor scale, Mike, with a raised sixth. It's what they use in
Not a clue.
for funk, like soloing over funk
Yeah.
and stuff.
Not a clue.
But Dan, Mike did predict you were going to get that wrong, so Mike gets a point. However, this last one is worth 2 marks, and it's whoever guesses the closest. So if you guess right, Dan, it's going to be a draw, and I'm going to have to come up with some kind of tiebreaker. If you guess closest, so I'm just going to read it out to you. And Mike, because you're leading, I'm going to get your guess first.
Yeah. Okay.
If all of the nerves in the human body were placed end to end, how long would they stretch? And this is off the PE specification, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
All of the nerves, and they'd all be stretched out. Got a lot of them in the brain. This is really tricky. Really tricky. I will go 45 meters, but guess.
Okay, I won't say, because you two can't hear each other, so I'm not going to say what you said. Dan, have you had time to think on the question?
Yeah, do you want kilometers or miles or
whatever unit you want to give me?
I know it's going to be something crazy, but I'm going to go just ballpark figure 10 kilometers.
Well, I can reveal the answer is 72.4 kilometers.
Whoa!
Miles out.
Yeah. Now, Dan, do you think Mike guessed closer than that?
Probably, because I'm 62 kilometers out.
Mike, do you think Dan guessed closer than that?
I think he guessed closer than me. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, Dan, that you were the closest.
What?
So yes, you were the closest. So that has leveled things up. Something I didn't quite expect. So what I'm going to have to do is come up with some sort of tie break to see which one goes. I mean, what a head-to-head! Like, what a head-to-head! And this is just going to be the first person to shout out the answer to the question.
All right.
And the question is going to be. See, this is being put on my feet now in front of everybody because I have absolutely no idea. I just didn't expect this. You would have thought I've had a tiebreaker. So, you know what? There were loads of questions that weren't asked that I prepared for. So let's use one that I did prepare for. And I'm going to go with a history question.
Oh.
A what question? Sorry, you cut out there, mate.
History.
Oh, go on then.
And the question is going to be, so just shout out the answer, if nobody shouts out, I'll move on to another one we've not done. Which tribe formed the main part of Boudicca's forces?
The Iceni.
Mike has got it. It was the Iceni. Yeah, or the
I would
Iceni.
never, if I had 1,000 years to sit and guess that, I never would have guessed it.
I wouldn't. I just pulled that off Google. So, I mean, you've both been absolutely amazing with that. Two professional educators of kids. It really shone through. Like, your knowledge of your home subjects is absolutely superb.
Apart from nerves,
that. But for it to come down to that, nobody deserved to lose. So, Dan, it's been a pleasure to have you. I'm sorry we've got to lose you at this early stage, but I really appreciate you coming on part. So,
enjoyed it.
And doing this. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Mike, you there?
Yes, I am, pal. Yeah.
You are now through to the third round.
Brilliant.
And I don't think we're going to have much more than 5 rounds or 4 rounds from what. So maybe you're even in the semi-final. I've got a few more of these to upload. But thank you again, both of you, very much. And I'll see you all again soon.